I I clicked the record button and then my phone buzzed, and so I couldn't resist looking. And it turns out I've received an email message from New York Tolls by Mail. In a previous video, I mentioned that I had to pay tolls for my use of highways in New York State on my way to Massachusetts. When I logged in, I found out that I was being charged more than the amount on the paper invoice I got, and now I've received a subsequent bill, I guess, for the final trek through New York State. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm Brian. I live in Toronto, and I'm going to do a recent finds video. I have some things to show you, and at the end, I'm going to throw in an unboxing. So you can stick around for that, or you can depart, whatever you like. But I wanted to start with a couple of shout-outs for channels that have been missing in action. I guess they took a period of time off. They were in hiatus for a while, and they're back. So I wanted to mention them. First one is a channel called TCAT Steep Vinyl Tracks, hosted by a gentleman called Mike. Mike was one of the first people to comment on my channel. He's been a steadfast commenter. And about 8 months ago, he made his last video and hasn't been seen since, but he's back. He's made 2 videos. He's the kind of guy that can walk into a thrift store and find really interesting stuff. I shouldn't say never. 10 years ago, I was finding interesting things, but not recently. But he still has the ability to do that. Very broad range of tastes in music. There was a period of time when it seemed like we would be able to meet because there was a small Ontario VC meetup, and unfortunately at the last minute Mike couldn't come, and subsequently he moved to Alberta, which has now made it immensely more difficult for us to meet, but maybe someday we will meet. So that's the first one. Second one is a channel called Your Vicar of Vinyl, who is a fellow Torontonian, and he was in the VC before me making videos, and there was a period of overlap. Like I started making videos and we commented a few times, but after a few months he left. So it's been 2.5 years that he's been away, and he just came back. He's released a couple of videos. So I'm just going to put the links below, and go check them out. Watch a couple of videos. If you like what you see, click subscribe. You might enjoy it. So now I'm going to move on to recent finds, including some deals that I got. And I'm going to start with this one from Ian McCulloch, who of course was the lead, or is the lead singer of Echo and the Bunnymen. Apart from one album, he left and they did an album without him, and then they reformed, and they've been together ever since. He's a vocalist that really brings me back to a time and place. I would say Ian McCulloch and Lloyd Cole, every time I hear them sing, I just think about the 80s and the music I was listening to at the time. So it's always a pleasure to hear Ian sing. And this is his third solo record, which came out in 2003 on compact disc. And then I think there was a further compact disc release, but this is the first time on vinyl that it's ever been released in honor of its 20th anniversary edition. So here's the hype sticker. I'm covering it up with my hand. 20th anniversary edition featuring contributions by Chris Martin and Johnny Buckland from Coldplay. John Sim, I don't know who that is, but a couple of singles are mentioned here. First time on vinyl, RSD 2023, 140 gram white vinyl. I had this in my hands on Record Store Day. I was considering it, but if you'll see the price there, it's $45, and I got it for $25 in a sale. So $45 for one piece of vinyl. Now, I haven't done the inflation calculator to see where we land on that, but that's where we are in Canada right now for records. $45 for one piece of vinyl. And I just decided not to pay it. $25, perfectly reasonable. The insert here, or the sleeve. And this is a limited edition, I think 1,500 copies, white vinyl. So that's pretty cool. I love this record. I think it's really good. As I say, I like his voice. I mean, his voice now, if you listen to live recordings, is a little bit rough, for sure. But I've always loved his voice. So I'm really happy to have this in my collection. I would say his first record, Candleland, is probably better. That's from '89. Then there was Mysterio, which is more synthy. This is more of an indie rock record, but I think it's actually really strong. So I'm happy to have that. Just listen to Love in Veins if you want to get an example of what the record sounds like. Number 2 is a band called Great Lakes Swimmers. This is Uncertain Country. I think it's their 8th record from 2023. They are from Waynfleet, Ontario. I don't think you'll ever find anyone else who's from Waynfleet, Ontario of fame. No one of fame, perhaps. Here's the back. Their early records were very folky, sometimes compared to Iron and Wine, possibly Nick Drake, maybe even a bit of Fleet Foxes. In fact, the first CD I had of them, I found it a little bit boring, but I've grown to like them. However, this is a change of sound for them. They have moved into a more indie, a very full indie rock sound. So it's more, sounds more produced, sounds more full sound, less of the folk stuff. So that's a bit of a transition. I'm still deciding what I think of it. And it's on a black vinyl. I don't think I have to pull it out, but here's the, well, do people like to see the labels? It looks like that. Anyway, black vinyl. But look at that. Full price was $28. $45. Why? So that was mad. So that's I'm getting used to that. It's a bit different from the early stuff. But for $12.99, I mean, I have to buy it, as is in the case of the next one as well. So this is Kevin Drew. The album's called Aging, and as you'll see, he's marked down from $30 to $12.99. So I had to buy it. He was the co-founder of Broken Social Scene with Brendan Canning. And I've always loved Broken Social Scene, including all of the side projects and the bands that formed from them and the solo records. They're all really, really strong. Kevin Drew's first record, Spirit If, is as good as or better than any Broken Social Scene record. It is fabulous. From that year that came out, I can't remember when, it'd be in my top 5 records for sure. It is really, really good. The second record he did, I don't know it very, very well, but it's okay. This record, I'm still deciding. I don't like the album cover, this McCarthy Pharmacy thing. Maybe you could phone that phone number and see what happens. There's a postal code in Better, Ontario. Kevin Drew. I think it's a lazy album cover. Maybe I just don't see it. I don't love the album cover very much. And overall, not bad. $12.99 made it kind of like I have to buy it. However, there's one negative to this record, and that is on the starter side B, there's a track called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, which lyrically and the subject matter is fine. The use of autotune almost made me take the record off. When I flipped it over and started playing it, I almost went over and lifted the needle and skipped to the next track. But I soldiered through because I figured I had to hear that song. I'm not the only one who thinks that. So I noted this from Pitchfork. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark is dismaying, a cloying attempt at autotune balladry that functions as the album's nadir. Absolutely 100% true. It is a dreadful song. The only good thing is that it's the first track, so I can easily skip it and start at track 2, because I do not ever want to hear that song again. There is a download card in here, and when I download this record, I am not going to save that track because it is that bad. Trust me. Pretty simple. Labels replicate the album jacket. So, I do like him. We'll have to listen to this a few more times, of course, but that song is not going to grow on me. You can guarantee about that. So next is a band that's been around since 1979, albeit now with personnel changes. But this is Gang of Four from 2011. Their album Content or Content, who knows. This is the first record they put out in 15 or 16 years. And at that point, they've been around now since 1979, so quite a long time. The last record with John King, unfortunately. And I think this is actually a good record. I guess trying to keep up that level of quality since the first releases from them is probably hard to do. And then they had that giant break. So, All Music, I sometimes look at All Music for reviews, and they called this record generally middling and gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. I think that's wrong. I think this is much stronger than that. There's some real notable songs on here. They sound great. So even the first record, She Said You Made a Thing of Me, really good. Pretty simple, just a polyline sleeve with pretty simple labels. So I'm going to give this a thumbs up from 2011. This is the 2011 pressing. I don't know if there was a more recent one or not, but good price on that. And I think it's pretty good. Now, here's another record that I got a deal on. I just took the plastic wrap off it now. $45, marked down to $19 for a record I should have had a year ago, but never did. I guess priorities creep in. You don't know what to get next. And this one sort of just passed me by, but I should have got it. But I'm happy to have it now, especially for that price. Look at that, $44.99 for a double record, as opposed to Ian McCulloch's sliding. Anyway, PIL, Public Image Limited. End of World from 2023. Back. It's on double vinyl, 45 RPM. So 2 records for $44.95, or 99, but I got it for $20, so that's a pretty good deal. Artwork by John, and even more artwork by John, and even more artwork from John. And this is the single cover for Hawaii, the song he wrote for Nora, his wife, who passed away. So sad news with that. Here is the gatefold with the band he's been working with lately. This band is fantastic. The guitar work on this record is really, really great. Sometimes I recommend songs, sometimes I forget. But Penge, just pick the first track. It's really good. There's always a healthy dose of humor in some of the music. When they kind of got back into the swing of things 3 albums ago, one of the tracks that really got my attention was Lollipop Opera. Fantastic and kind of funny in a way too. This is a strong record. They're tight. The band sounds amazing. The lyrics are classic John. There's some humor. There's some profanity. There's some excellent guitar work. They sound great. So I'm going to recommend that one. And I'm happy, I waited a year, but I got a deal. So I guess that's good, right? Here is a reissue from a record that came out in 1993. This is Morrissey, Beethoven Was Deaf. And if you know that record, you know the album cover is completely different. They changed it. I wasn't really wedded to that album cover, but it's weird that they chose an image from a period that doesn't reflect the concert here. This concert was way back when, before 1993 or 1993, and they chose something that is out of the time period, which is weird to me. 16 tracks on this record. And it covers the Your Arsenal period, of course, looking back to Viva Hate as well, because we have Suede Head, etc. Glamour. There's a list of the tracks. A really good recording of a really good concert, if you ask me. I think this sounds really great. I know people have issues with Morrissey now. I haven't really followed too much. I've heard a few things. I mean, what can you say? I try not to. I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of him now, but I'm kind of like the kind of guy that would buy the next Morrissey record, of course. And there's 2 that haven't been released yet, so that are waiting because of issues with his record company. And this is on orange vinyl. The Sire labels. So I'm happy to have this, something I never had on vinyl before. So I'm happy to have this. Now this is on bio vinyl. So I'm going to just read what I wrote, or what I copied down, because I didn't really know what bio-vinyl is, but apparently it's petroleum-free, 99.98% petroleum-free. So it serves as a replacement for petroleum and SPVC and copolymer with biogenic waste. In other words, recycled used cooking oil is used. 90% reduction in CO2 savings for this type of vinyl. ISCC Plus certification guarantees the traceability of bio-based raw materials throughout the entire supply chain. 100% recyclable and can be utilized in the circular economy. Acoustic and optical quality identical to conventional vinyl records. So that's interesting. I'd be interested to know how the lifespan works out. We won't know, I guess, for many years, but if it's identical, then that's kind of cool. But anyway, I'm happy to have this, something I never had. I don't know if the other Morrissey records from that period are going to be released on vinyl. Some of them weren't, or some of them really hard to get, so I would buy them because that's the kind of guy I am. So next is a new record from 2024 for the Fontaines DC, and this is Romance on limited edition hot pink vinyl. I have to say, though, I don't really like this album cover. I think that's a miss. I'd rather just have a band photo, honestly, than that. And the back isn't much better. This is, as I say, 2024, their 4th record. There is a cardboard inner with this pink vinyl. There's some credits here, and then there's another insert which has lyrics and interesting band photo. I, of course, love the Fontaines DC. Everything they've done, I think, is really good. I think the reviews on this have been good. I've seen some comments from people, like fans, who didn't like it, but I think this is equally good to their other records. I mean, you might notice a difference in sound in some aspects, but I think that this is a band that has done no wrong as far as I'm concerned. I think they're consistently good. I'm going to recommend Starburster. Listen to Starburster. If you don't like that, there's, you won't like the record probably, but I think it's a really strong record, and I'm happy to have it. Except for the cover, which kind of might give me nightmares now that I look at it. It's just, oh, what is going on? I guess it's some sort of heart. I don't know. Next is a record I should have had before now, but never did. And this is Only God Was Above Us from Vampire Weekend. And this is the indie retail version, which has a slightly different cover, as you may guess if you've seen it before. It's a bit of a transit theme here in a way. Even the inside of the gatefold has this sort of subway kind of theme going through it. I have loved everything Vampire Weekend has done. I think they've been really solidly good. There's the other sleeve, and then there is a rather large. I guess, is this a poster? I guess there's a poster on one side and lyrics on the other, which I will try to open up. This seems to be a little impractical to me. If you want to read the lyrics, do you really want to pull this out? I mean, if I was a teenager lying on my bedroom floor, maybe, but it seems a little bizarre to me. Here's the sideways, but you get the idea. So I guess if I need the lyrics, I'll just go to the web, because I'm not going to pull that out. But it's kind of a cool thing. And what can I say about this record? I think this record is excellent. As I say, I've liked everything they've done. I think this is, if you've ever heard a different Vampire Weekend, this is not going to surprise you. Solid. I always love the vocals, and the music is really interesting. So I'm going to give that one a thumbs up. And here's kind of I guess I'll call it a grail, because I missed this when it came out, and I didn't know if I'd ever get a copy. This is Sloan, Alive and All Right, from 2023, but it was recorded live in February of the year 2000. It is a live recording of their Between the Bridges record with some B-sides thrown in, and they performed this to an audience of 50 people. There's only 1,200 copies of this record that were made, so 50 people were allowed to see it. The record comes with a little card that has a URL where you can watch the entire video of the performance. And some really nice black and white photography here. The sleeves are just poly-lined sleeves on black vinyl, but there is an insert here, which... put this down here, which has photography, track listing, and then in the inside some information about, which I actually haven't read this yet. So one day I will read that. But I'd say this is a grail. I got a good price on this. I saw it advertised on another record store in town, and it was $90. I didn't pay anywhere near $90 for this, so I'm happy to have that. That's really cool. Now, the last thing I wanted to do is an unboxing, so I'm going to pause the video momentarily and change the perspective so you can see the box I'm going to open. Unseal, I guess I'll say. All right. Hello, everybody, and thanks for hanging out. This is the so-called unboxing portion. It's not really an unboxing because I got this in a local shop, so it didn't actually have a shipping box. It was still sealed, and I just took off the plastic wrap just before I clicked record, just to get that out of the way. So this is what we're looking at. This is the Velvet Underground, the complete Matrix tapes. This was recorded November 26th and 27th, 1969. I have not opened the box yet. Nice ticket stub here from a different event at the Fillmore in San Francisco on these dates, but, this date, I guess. And so when this came out on compact disc in 2015, I didn't really notice it or didn't pay attention. And then in 2019, it came out on vinyl. And again, I either missed it or didn't pay attention or didn't care or something, and kind of missed it. But then after that, I thought, oh, that would be a very nice thing to have. So I remember looking it up on Amazon. There was one on there that, you know how sometimes Amazon prices are absolutely ridiculous, third-party sellers. And then I looked it up on Discogs, and I looked it up yesterday just to be sure, but if I were to order this from Discogs, and I have to include shipping after all, it would be around $400, which I thought was way too much. And up. I mean, one of them was $1,000 with shipping. So I sort of decided that I would never get one when I looked it up years ago. And I looked up yesterday just for the price. And As it happened, I went to a local record store and they were having a 20% off sale, which is why I went. And as I was looking around, I happened to glance up behind the cash register area. And among the box sets was this one, staring out at me. All the other ones had price tags on it, big price tags that you could read from, 15 feet away. This one did not. So I went up and I said, I have to ask you, how much is this box set? And he gave me a price, and then he said, I could look up the invoice, and I can give it to you for the price I just mentioned, or I'll give it to you for the invoice price, whichever is less. But he said it's never going to be less because, there are 8 records in here. So just before we get to that, let me just show you the back again, because I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but there is 4 sets. Set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4. Each one is 2 records. Of course, there's some tracks that are repeated, of course, because they only had so many songs. So there we are. It's made in Germany. So just as I was about to say, that seems like a really fair price. He said, but of course, you can have it for 20% off because I'm having a sale and I want to clear things out. And I thought, wow, that cannot be beaten. That price, cannot be beaten. Excellent price to begin with, less 20%. I was sold. So I walked away with this in my hands. So I haven't looked at it yet, so let's look at what's in here. Now, I would say the only, maybe not issue, but the only statement I will say about this is that this is the Doug Yule years. Not that I dislike Doug Yule, but I guess if I was looking for an 8 record set of Velvet Underground, I'd prefer the John Cale years. So this is the booklet. Nice image of the band there. Statement from Lou Reed, which I guess he read that, or he said that in 1969 at the Matrix in San Francisco. There is some writing. I haven't read it yet, of course. There is the band again. The rest of the text from Rolling Stone in 2015 when the CD set came out. And as I mentioned, there's the lineup, which is Lou Reed, Sterling Morrison, Doug Yule, and Mo Tucker. Live at the Matrix, November 26th and 27th. How cool is that? So I'm guessing these all look pretty much the same, but I can't really go through everyone, but you'll see there are 8 records here. So this is the first one. So they all say that, set 1, LP 1. Guess I should make sure I got the right ones. Track listing, Waiting for the Man, What Goes On, Some Kind of Love, Heroin. And then the lineup again. Set 1, LP 2. Let me pull one of these out just so you can. I think this is this seam on the cardboard split. I guess the glue dried out. It's been sitting in his shop for 5 years, it seems. Set 2, LP 1, set 2, LP 2, set 3, LP 1, set 3, LP 2. Set 4 LP1, set 4 LP2. No, I will go through these and make sure that I have the right ones, but I don't even know if I could actually return it if not. But that is cool. Is this particular one? Cool, right? So I'm happy to have that. I have a couple of these things. This one is split open. I guess just needs to be re-glued. All right, there we go. Sort of unboxing of the Velvet Underground. Thanks for watching.